Mark time! March! Battalion! Off!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the national anthem. Damas y caballeros, por favor, pónganse de pie para la invocación y permanezcan de pie para el himno nacional.
Please bow your heads and join me in this prayer. Dear beloved Father, we pause to remember the great losses and courageous acts of September 11th. We lift up those who are still affected, families of the victims, police officers, firemen, first responders, members of our armed forces, and all who were involved. We pray for the light of Christ to flood the hearts of people everywhere. We believe you desire to redeem your creation, and we trust that beauty will continue to come from the ashes of those dark days. Surround us with your mighty angels of perfection. Give us compassion for one another in all of life's circumstances, and instill in us the courage to answer your call. Amen.
Bring your unit to attention and present arms.
Battalion! Attention! Present arms!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Bring your unit to order arms.
Order! Arms!
Repeat after me. I'm an Army JROTC cadet. I always conduct myself to bring credit. To my family. Country. School. And the Corps Cadets. I'm loyal and patriotic. I'm the future of the United States of America. I do not lie, cheat, or steal. And always be accountable for my actions and deeds. I always practice good citizenship and patriotism. I'll work hard to improve my mind and strengthen my body. I'll seek the mental leadership and stand prepared to uphold the Constitution and the American way of life. May God grant me the strength to always live by this creed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Damas y caballeros, por favor, tomen sus asientos. Bring your unit to parade rest.
Parade, rest.
Friends, teachers, distinguished guests, and members of the Trojan family, on behalf of the University High School JROTC instructors and every cadet in the Trojan Battalion. Amigos, maestros, invitados distinguidos y miembros de la familia Troyano, en nombre de los instructores de JROTC de UHS y todos los cadetes del Batallón Troyano. We would like to welcome you to our second University High School JROTC September 11th Remembrance Ceremony. Today, we all look back to honor those who lost their lives on that tragic day. Les damos la bienvenida a nuestra segunda ceremonia de conmemoración del 11 de septiembre del JROTC de UHS. Hoy recordamos a quienes perdieron la vida en ese trágico día. On this day, 24 years ago, America was changed forever. History books were rewritten and families were never the same again. Innocent people lost their lives and brave first responders sacrificed everything to make sure they saved American lives. En este día, hace 24 años, Estados Unidos cambió para siempre. Los libros de historia se reescribieron y las familias nunca volvieron a ser las mismas. Personas inocentes perdieron la vida y valientes socorristas lo sacrificaron todo para asegurarse de salvar vidas estadounidenses. 24 years ago, families lost sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers. Nothing will fill the void in these families' lives, but with us gathering here today, we show those families we will never forget and their loved ones will always be remembered. Hace 24 años, familias perdieron a hijos, hijas, madres y padres. Nada llenará el vacío en sus vidas, pero al reunirnos hoy aquí, les mostramos a esas familias que nunca olvidaremos y que sus seres queridos siempre serán recordados. September 11th, 2001, at 7:14 a.m. was a tragic day for all Americans near and far. El 11 de septiembre de 2001 a las 7:14 de la mañana fue un día trágico para todos los americanos cercanos y lejanos. On this day, Al-Qaeda carried out an attack on American soil, hijacked and flew 4 airplanes into the Twin Towers, Pentagon, and the Pennsylvania countryside outside of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Ese día, Al-Qaeda llevó un ataque en Estados Unidos secuestro y voló aviones hasta los Pentágonos de las Torres Gemelas y el lado condado de Pennsylvania afuera de Shanksville, Pennsylvania. 2 of those airplanes crashed into the upper floors of the North and South Towers of the World Trade Center complex. 2 de esos aviones se estrellaron contra los pisos superiores de las torres norte y sur del complejo del Centro de Comercio Mundial. Those 2 airplanes led to the collapse of the Twin Towers due to the damage they sustained in the impact. 2,753 Americans were killed. Esos 2 aviones provocaron el colapso de las Torres Gemelas debido a los daños que sufrieron en el impacto. 2,753 americanos murieron. The third plane went towards the Pentagon and hit the E-ring at the first deck level between corridors 4 and 5, and the path of destruction ended in the alley between the C-ring and the B-ring. El tercer avión se dirigió hacia el Pentágono y golpeó el anillo E en el primer nivel de cubierta entre los corredores 4 y 5. El camino de destrucción terminó en el callejón entre el anillo C y el anillo B. The airplane killed 184 people. Este avión mató a 184 personas.
After finding out about the other attacks, the fourth plane passengers on Flight 93 decided to fight back.
Después de enterarse de los otros ataques, los pasajeros del cuarto avión en el vuelo 93 decidieron contraatacar.
The plane then crashed into an empty field in western Pennsylvania, killing 40 people.
El avión se estrelló en un campo vacío en el oeste de Pennsylvania y mató a 40 personas.
Those 4 airplanes alone killed 2,996 Americans and injured 6,000.
Esos 4 aviones solos mataron a 2,996 americanos y herido a 6,000.
As a result, America went to war with Al-Qaeda both in Iraq and in Afghanistan for 20 years to protect the homeland and preserve the American way of life.
Como resultado, los Estados Unidos entró en guerra con Al-Qaeda tanto en Irak como en Afganistán durante 20 años para proteger la patria y preservar el estilo de vida de los Estados Unidos.
Today, we are here to remember and commemorate all of those lives that were lost on this tragic day.
Hoy estamos aquí para recordar y conmemorar todas esas vidas que se perdieron en ese trágico día.
They were America's sons and daughters, gone but not forgotten.
Eran hijos y hijas de Estados Unidos que desaparecieron pero nunca olvidados.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of taps.
Damas y caballeros, por favor pónganse de pie para el toque de silencio.
Bring your unit to attention and present arms.
Battalion, attention! Present arms!
Bring your unit to order arms and parade rest.
Order! Arms! Parade! Rest!
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a moment of silence for the men and women who lost their lives on that fateful day.
Damas y caballeros, por favor guarden un momento de silencio por los hombres y mujeres que perdieron la vida en este día.
Thank you. He retired on the 31st of July of 2024 with over 30 years of service to this great nation. As former professor of military science of Arizona University and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Army ROTC programs.
Se jubiló el 31 de julio de 2024 con más de 30 años de servicio a esta gran nación. Fue profesor de ciencias militares de los programas ROTC del Ejército de la Universidad del Norte de Arizona y la Universidad Aeronáutica Embry-Riddle.
Served 26 years as an Army aviator, rated in the TH-67, OH-58AC, and the AH-64 ACDE model aircrafts. He enlisted in March of 1994, attended Warrant Officer Candidate School in September of 1997, and received his commission through Officer Candidate School in May of 2003.
Sirvió 26 años como aviador del ejército con calificación para el TH-67, el OH-58AC y la balsa modelo AH-64ACDE. Se alistó en marzo del 1994, asistió en la escuela de aspirantes a suboficiales en septiembre de 1997 y obtuvo su comisión a través de la escuela de aspirantes a oficiales en mayo de 2003.
He is a graduate of the Aviation Basic and Advanced course, as well as the Command and General Staff College. He served as the 25th Infantry Division Chief of Training for the Assistant Chief of Staff G3 Operations.
Se graduó del curso básico y avanzado de aviación, así como de la Escuela de Comando y Estado Mayor. Se desempeñó como jefe de entrenamiento para la 25 División de Infantería del subjefe del Estado Mayor Operaciones G3.
His previous field grade assignments include Senior Aviation Advisor to the Royal Saudi Land Forces Aviation Corps, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Director of Aviation Operations, 3rd Corps, Fort Hood, Texas, U.S. Forces Korea Transformation Plans Officer, G5 Aviation Plans Officer for 2nd ID, Camp Red Cloud, Republic of South Korea, Brigade Operations Officer for the 504th Battlefield Surveillance Brigade, and the Executive Officer for the 2-291st Aviation Battalion, 166th Aviation Brigade, Fort Hood, Texas.
Sus asignaciones de grado de campo anteriores incluyen Asesor Superior de Aviación del Cuerpo de Aviación de las Fuerzas Terrestres Reales de Arabia Saudita, Riyadh, Arabia Saudita, Director de Operaciones de Aviación, Tercer Cuerpo, Fort Hood, Texas, Oficial de Planes de Transformación de las Fuerzas de Estados Unidos en Corea, Oficial de Planes de Aviación G5 para la Segunda ID, Campamento Nube Roja, República de Corea del Sur, Oficial de Operaciones de Brigada para el 504 Brigada de Vigilancia del Campo y Batalla y Oficial Ejecutivo del 291 Batallón de Aviación, 166 Brigada de Aviación, Fort Hood, Texas.
His combat tours include multiple overseas assignments, including Operation Joint Guardian, Kosovo, 3 long tour combat deployments, 2 to Iraq with the 1st Combat Aviation Brigade, and CJTF, SOJTF, 3rd Corps, and 1 combat deployment to Saudi Arabia and the surrounding CENTCOM theater.
Los despliegues de su batalla incluyen múltiples asignaciones en el extranjero, incluida la Operación Joint Guardian Kosovo, 3 despliegues de combate de larga duración, 2 en Irak con la Primera Brigada de Aviación de Combate y el CJTF-SOJTF, Tercer Cuerpo, y un despliegue de combate en Arabia Saudita y el Teatro CENTCOM circundante.
His awards and decorations include the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 1 oak leaf cluster, Army Commendation Medal with 5 oak leaf clusters, Meritorious Unit Citation, and the Master Aviator Badge.
Sus premios y condecoraciones incluyen la Medalla de Servicio Meritorio de Defensa, la Medalla de Servicio Meritorio con un grupo de hojas de roble, la Medalla de Reconocimiento del Ejército con 5 grupos de hojas de roble, la Mención de Unidad Meritoria y la insignia de Maestro Aviador.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce to you Lieutenant Colonel Retired James Anthony Battle.
Damas y caballeros, es un placer presentarles al Teniente Coronel retirado James Anthony Battle.
Hey, thank you. Hey, thanks for that warm welcome, but the most important is retired. Hey, good morning, Trojans. I say good morning, Trojans. Good morning. All right. Hey, welcome to this great, cool Texas morning. Cool. So before I start this off, I'd like to recognize a few folks. Starting with Dr. Tiffany Spicer, Superintendent of Schools with the Waco ISD. Thanks for having me here. I want to thank Dr. Kenesha Johnson, the principal of the University High School. Thank you, ma'am, for having me here today. It's my honor, for sure. And I want to thank the faculty and staff for all of the hard work you guys have put into these kids and supporting the education system. I want to thank Chief Matt Francis for bringing me out of retirement. And I want to thank Sergeant First Class Marcus Hayner, the senior NCO and instructor for the glorious Trojan Battalion. And I know by far he is the hardest working man in the program, I'm sure. And last but not least, I want to thank the Trojan Battalion. You guys look great. You're a great group of young men and women, future leaders, and I'm sure most of you all will be future warfighters. So thank you all for having me here today. All right, so now I know what you're thinking, right? So there's a veteran with a microphone in his hand. So great. There's only one of two things that can happen today. Either I'm going to be super inspirational or this is going to be super long. So I've been around long enough to know two things. One, don't walk in a minefield by yourself. And two, I've been around long enough to understand you got to be present, be brief, and then be gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would say, I hope you have enough water and rations to last you for another 24 to 48 hours, because this is going to be a long, long history lesson. And by the way, I think Chief Francis, if he says I go any longer, he's probably going to make me run with the football team, and no one wants to see that. So, in all transparency, I'll tell you, after 30 years of service, I never was a good long distance runner. And in the Army, if you were in the Army anywhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, we'd have a PT test once every six months. And the 2-mile run was one of the events. And so I'll tell my first sergeant, I'll say, hey, first sergeant, hey, I'm good for 2 miles twice a year. That's it. So that's like 4 miles a year, right? So if I put together my Army math, carry the 30 years, 4 miles a year, it comes out to, I don't know, 435,000 million miles that I ran in my 30 years of career. But I'll tell you what, the 435,000 million miles that I ran were the best miles of my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world, huh? So, without further ado, my name is James J.B. Battle. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel, and I served as an Army aviation officer for 26 years. But before that, I served 4 years as an administrative specialist. And essentially what we did is we processed personnel work for service members and family members. And I will tell you, all throughout my 30 years, my two best accolades was when I was a private first class in Germany. And one, I would say, as an admin specialist, I managed to type 30 words per minute without a mistake. That's one. And then two, if anybody knew about those Army issued staplers, if you knew about them, you know those things couldn't staple a sheet of paper to themselves, but we managed to shoot an entire ream of staples into a trash can from 15 feet away. So I would tell you, out of 30 years, those were my best two accolades, and it was a great time to be a private in the Army. So today, I'm honored to stand here, not just as a veteran, but as someone who's old enough to remember where I was on September 11th, 2001. And as stated in the introduction, my last 3 years in service, I was a professor of military science for two schools, the Lumberjacks, go Lumberjacks, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, my Desert Eagles, go Desert Eagles. So as you all know, every year we'd have this ceremony, and I'd stand in front of my class and I'd explain to them about the events that unfolded and things that happened. And these kids, man, they would just look at me and they would say, wow, with the deer in the headlight looks, it's like, and I'm like, what? What's the problem? And I'm like, sir, we weren't there. A lot of us weren't even born yet. And so I'd stop and take a deep breath and look and say, wow, man, you know, that's true. You guys weren't there. So what's that telling me? Is you guys are making me really old. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. So 9/11 Remembrance, on this day in 2001, America woke up to something we never expected. The attacks shook our country, but they also united us in a way that's hard to describe. Strangers help strangers. Firefighters, police officers, and everyday heroes ran toward danger instead of away from it. It's important to understand 9/11 wasn't just about the attack on the Pentagon, the destruction in that lone field in Pennsylvania, nor the falling of the World Trade Center or the more than 3,000 lives lost, but it was about America standing up. People stood up for each other, for freedom, and for what was right. Now think, kids. I'm in academics. I love to be a professor first, so this is a testable. So make sure you go home and do your homework. This is going to be a great history lesson. So today, I want to highlight a special hero. He wasn't a U.S. service member, nor was he a first responder, but he made the ultimate sacrifice for us in remembrance of this horrific day in 2001. His name was William Big Bill Biggert, a freelance photojournalist born in Berlin, Germany, on the 20th of July, 1947, to an American U.S. officer. And if you all know, this is the mid-40s, so some major events happening during this time. He later moved to Lower Manhattan, New York in 1970s, right around the same time as the World Trade Center was opening on April 4th, 1973. So after 7 grueling years of construction, starting with the North Tower in 1966, that's important, remember the North Tower, 1966, the World Trade Center completely changed the New York skyline and America as a whole. And Bill was there to greet it. So here's a tidbit. Did you know the World Trade Center had its own zip code? That's how big it was. That's how massive the World Trade Center was. It had its own zip code, 10048. Kiddos, do your homework, do the research. He started his career as a commercial photographer and later pursued spot news photography, taking small jobs in theater production, and later transitioned into a full-time photojournalist. He's covered major events, both domestic and internationally, including the Gulf War and the fall of the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989. Some of his notable work can still be found in popular periodicals such as Reuters and the New York Times. However, the morning of September 11, 2001, Bill was walking his dog with his wife, Wendy, in the park when he noticed a grayish black smoke lining the skies with sirens and screams everywhere, piercing the skies of what is now a cloudy, smoky skyline of New York City. He was alerted by a passing taxi driver that a plane had just crashed into the World Trade Center. So Bill, known as a news junkie, jumped into action. He ran to his apartment, he grabbed 2 film cameras, a digital camera, and all the film and equipment he could muster into his camera bag and began his 2-mile, 20-block trek toward the destruction. With cameras swinging from his shoulders, he shot film of screaming fire trucks, first responders, and people fleeing the unfolding scene. There he was, in the center of it all, shooting film, guiding fellow citizens and assisting emergency services where he could, all while capturing the horrific moment, the burning towers, the people, the chaos. He continued to charge forward, deeper into the abyss of destruction, ignoring danger and his personal safety, shot after shot after shot, until that South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m. Eastern Time. His wife, Wendy, called him on his cell phone shortly after the first tower collapsed, and he simply responded, "Hey, don't worry, I'm with the firemen, I'm safe. I will meet you in 20 minutes. According to the reports and his fellow journalists who were there on the scene with Bill, they stated he was closer than any other photographer and closer than anyone else that felt or deemed safe. The second tower fell. Again, the North Tower fell at 10:28 and 31 seconds Eastern Time. With complete disregard for his personal safety and his back facing the North Tower, Bill took his last photo of the South Tower at 10:28 and 24 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a mere 7 seconds prior to the collapse of the burning North Tower. So in the immediate aftermath, what does Wendy do? She waited for her husband in their apartment for his return. Minutes turned to hours, which turned into days, and she continued to search for her husband inside every hospital, every police station, and holding area available, but to no avail, her husband would not be found. Luckily, 4 days later, Bill's remains were discovered, along with his camera equipment, severely damaged and burned. Much of the film was destroyed. However, a colleague managed to find a memory card, completely intact, with the digital image files still intact. Many were clear images, some were shaken partials, blurred, and out of focus. A true testament that even Bill, who challenged danger, the news junkie, was taken aback by the intensity and the magnitude of the string of events that had unfolded before his lens. They managed to salvage 154 of the 300 photos taken of that event. His last photo, Tower 2, or the South Tower, was featured in countless publications and venues, including the International Center of Photography in New York City and the National Museum of American History in 2002. His equipment and work continues to circulate the world, on display for the world to see how Americans can handle adversity. Bill Biggert is an American hero whom immortalized America on that day through his commitment, courage, and dedication to film. A key takeaway today is not all heroes wear uniforms. They're amongst us in the stands. They're your teachers and your instructors that show up every day. They're your friends who stand up for you when things get tough. They're you. When you choose courage over comfort, kindness over cruelty, and service over self, you can't lose. So Bill Biggert, he made the ultimate sacrifice so you and I can continue to remember and celebrate this day forever in time. So to learn more about Bill Biggert, go to billbiggert.com, continue the legacy, and learn about his work. Okay, that's it. That's it for the history lesson. So I don't want you to leave here on a sad note, because that's not what our heroes would want. They'd want you to live, laugh, and live big. Maybe even do your homework. And do your homework on time, kiddos. But seriously, they'd want you to honor them for being the best versions of yourself, whether that's in your classroom, on the field, in the cafeteria, or in your future careers, future warfighters. Hey, be the best version of yourselves. So in closing, I hope you have enough water. As a veteran, I'm proud to have served this country. But as I look around the venue, I see the future. And it's sitting right here at the University High School. You don't have to wait until you're older to make a difference. Start now, execute. Be someone people can count on. And hey, if you ever forget this speech, just remember the veteran who came to your school and gave you homework, because it's all testable, who did like 489,000 million miles of running throughout his career, and definitely wasn't going to run laps with the football team, Chief. But never forget 9/11. Always remember those heroes, and always believe that you have the power to carry their legacy forward. Freedom's never free. All gave some, but some gave all. Live by your motto to motivate young people and become better citizens. And last but not least, Trojan Battalion, find a way, whore. Find a way, whore. Thank you. And by the way, don't worry about it. It's no homework. You've all passed your test. Thank you. All right. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a loud round of applause for Lieutenant Colonel retired James Anthony Battle for his outstanding speech.
Damas y caballeros, por favor den un fuerte aplauso al Teniente Coronel retirado James Anthony Battle por su excelente discurso.
Thank you everyone for attending the University High School JROTC second annual 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony.
Gracias a todos por asistir a la ceremonia de conmemoración del 11 de septiembre de la Escuela Secundaria Universitaria.
Bring your unit to attention and fall out.
Battalion, attention! Fall out!